Words have power. We don't need a sermon series called Tune Up to remind us of this fact. It is true. Our words hold great power. Whether you're speaking them directly to someone or whether you type them and send them out into the world, fires can be set by the words that we say. And if you have received destructive words, you know that you carry these words with you, that these words can scar you, can mark you. Our words matter. The words from James today are a good reminder for me and for you. As I've been reading them, they have been confronting me over and over again. I have been convicted of the ways that I have used my words to tear down rather than to build up. I remember a story from when I was in elementary school and I was trying to be cool, and I was in the school bathroom with some of the cool girls, and I was trying to impress them. And so I said, "Oh, did you see what so-and-so was wearing today? Oh, her clothes are so ugly, and she's fat, and she's not even pretty." And right as I said this, we heard the toilet flush, and the girl that I had just trashed walked out of the bathroom stall. And me and the other girls just froze and didn't say anything. And then when she left the room, I was like, "Do you think she heard me? Do you think she knew I was talking about her?" And we talked all about this. But I never ended up having a conversation with that girl again. It was toward the end of the school year, and I was too afraid to look at her. And I didn't see her the next year, and I don't know whatever became of her. But I still remember that I had trashed her that day in the bathroom. And I liked her. We got along. But in that moment, it was more important for me to try to be popular than to be kind. I regret those words. What is the worst thing that someone has ever said to you? Maybe you have some words that you carry with you that made you feel less than. Maybe their words about you or to you made you give up on something you loved to do because it wasn't cool, it wasn't popular. In this short book in the New Testament, James, he calls our attention to the importance of our words. And I think it's important that we all feel the heat of his words. He compares our tongues to destructive forest fires. And that hits home right now, here in this country, in this time of the year. There are dry conditions and forest fires that are out of control. We know how destructive those can be. He also compares our tongues to wild animals that cannot be tamed, that are dangerous. In verses 9 and 10, I have these words on the screen. He laments the way that we bless God. Also, with our same tongue, we curse those who are made in the likeness of God. He said, "From the same mouths, both blessings and cursings come." And he says, brothers and sisters, this ought not to be so. He is lamenting this power that we use to destroy rather than to build up. And I agree. Brothers and sisters, this ought not to be so. James started this portion of his letter by talking about teachers. He says not everyone should be teachers because those who teach are judged with greater strictness. They are held to a higher standard. I believe that's true also. Anyone who is a teacher or who has influence, who has people that listen to them or that they are directing, they should be held to a higher standard. Their words matter, and their words and their actions should match. We all lead best by our example. So whether you are a teacher or a pastor or a coach, whether you're a leader of a company, whether you're a manager or a parent or a politician, your words matter. It is devastating when we look every day in the news and see someone who has set fire by their words or actions and done something to destroy a community or a family or a company. Every day we see examples. We see examples of churches where church communities get torn apart because a pastor who has preyed on church members. We see examples of coaches being busted for some kind of misconduct and the impact it has on their team. We see the reputations of companies being dragged through the mud because of leaders in those companies who have not had words or actions that live up to what the company says it believes. And every day, we see politicians who are not holding up the standards that they are asking of other people. Where do we begin? What are we to do when we see so many examples of bad speech, not to mention just the everyday sniping that happens on social media? Well, James gives us some direction. First, we can't control what other people say and do, but we can keep our own mouths in check. So one idea that he shares with us is he gives us these examples of a bit in the mouth of a horse or the rudder on a ship. Bits and rudders are very small, and yet they are able to guide very large things. When we think about this in our lives, we can say, who is driving or directing us? Who is driving or directing our tongues, the words that we speak? Are we controlled by our mood, by our temper, or are we leaning into our God? Are we letting God direct our words, our actions, our steps? James gives us some ways that we can stay attuned to God. That's the name of our sermon series, Tune Up, where we are tuning our hearts to the presence of God. James says to pray, to bring your concerns to God. You can share your anger, you can share your rage, you can share your frustration, your hurt. Bring those things to God. Give that to God. Let God examine your heart before you start to spout off on someone else. James recommends daily prayer and having other people pray for you as well. Some more practical guidance is the 24-hour rule. If you read something on social media or you get an email or you have a conversation with someone, take 24 hours before you respond. And a wise person here at church reminded me that sometimes you need 36 to 48 hours in order to really calm down and have a more reasoned and thoughtful response. But during this 24-hour cool-off time, before you respond to that email, pray for that person. Pray for that situation that has you so worked up. And then, when you do respond, use the think test. This isn't new, and I don't even know who invented the think test, but it can help guide your words. So after your 24 hours of cooling down, ask yourself, are the words I'm going to say, are they true? Are they honest? Are they important? Sometimes things just don't need to be said. And then, are they necessary? And finally, are they kind? Yes, even when you have been hurt, even when you are angry, you can still ask yourself if these questions apply to the words that you are going to put back out there to someone else. Words have power. James lifts up how our words can destroy and tear down, but yet our words are also able to encourage and inspire. Our words are able to build up. Our words are able to heal. And our words are more likely able to do that when we are attuned to our God, when we are leaning into God for support. Relationships are hard. Trying to figure out how to move through conflict is hard. That's why we don't have to do it alone. God is with us. I want to close with a short video clip where I had a conversation with Moorhead's middle school orchestra conductor, and he talks about someone else's words that encouraged him to move down the life path he has gone down as a music teacher. So watch this video.
When I was in third grade is when I started an orchestra, and hard to believe, Larry, but I used to be a cool kind of a person. And in third grade, I was sitting in the back of music class, and the fourth grade orchestra down at elementary school in Marshall came to play. And I'm embarrassed to say this now, but me and my friends, we sat in the back and we kind of made fun of the small orchestra. And I had zero intentions of signing up for orchestra. But before you left, you had to walk up to the front of the room and try out all the instruments. And so we all filed by, and this young lady, her name is Jean Cheney, and I don't know where she ended up, but I owe her a thank you. I tried out the violin or viola, I don't remember what it was, and I knew her from other activities. And she said, Brian, you'd be really good at this. And I went home that night, and I told my dad, I said, I think I want to sign up for orchestra. And he was shocked. He's like, orchestra? Yeah. But I know if that fourth grade girl hadn't said, Brian, you'd be really good at this, I never would have signed up for orchestra, and I never would have ended up, I think I would have been a teacher, history teacher, English teacher or something, but I'm so thankful that that girl felt a nudge to tell me that, and that's how I ended up being a music teacher. So.
Amen.